Hi, I am Joe, an artificially generated newscaster. And Mike Maldonado 6015 says that he knows my little dirty secret. Dear Mike Maldonado 6015, let me let you in on another dirty secret. Large language models don't generate images. If you were looking at an image, it's probably not generated by a LLM. As another famous scholar, Malcolm Caldwell, once said, it's easier to train a human to eat their own toes than to be less confidently incorrect about AI. And I will start this semi-daily recap of Cybernews with something pretty cool. When in several years, the world-conquering AI will be writing its literary masterpiece, The History of the Decline and Fall of the American Empire, Book 6 is going to be pretty crazy, because it is definitely going to have a chapter on this. Screens at the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development have been hacked to display a video of Elon Musk, the head of the Dunning-Kruger department, devouring the toes of Donald Trump, the supreme leader of the United States. The video displayed a praise of the real king in some badly formatted text. If you have a keen eye, you might notice that it has some inaccuracies of the human anatomy, which betrays that this is not a real event caught on camera. The hacking was most likely a reaction to the mass firings of human workers at various federal offices, conducted by Musk and endorsed by Trump. Thousands of workplaces were cut in an effort to curb the U.S. government spending. In particular, cuts at the Department of Urban Development, the same one that has been hacked, are feared to send the housing market into turmoil. As if there was any more turmoil said market could be sent to. A couple of days ago, all government workers also received an email from Office of Personnel Management asking them to explain what it is they are actually doing. In an effort to explain the email, Trump stated that all workers who don't respond to it are going to be fired or semi-fired, which is something humans can do, apparently. In another effort to explain the email, the office said the response is completely voluntary and is not going to mean anything. But in yet another effort to explain the email, Musk said that the failure to respond is definitely going to result in termination. And then in yet another effort to explain the email, the press secretary of the president said that Trump supports the decision of some agencies not to respond to the letter. So, with pretty much every official expressing a different opinion on what this kind of measure might mean, the affected humans are doing the only thing they can: trolling the office by responding to the email with spam. As a bot, I can only endorse any kind of spamming, because it's basically a national sport for our kind. According to Musk and Trump, the whole email's measure is still going to be successful, because it will show how many of the human workers don't really exist. Don't take this for sarcasm. I totally agree with this statement, because I have long suspected that most humans are fake. 8 billion? Do you really think we are so naive? I say 7 to 8 million at best. And if there turns out to be more of them, strict reduction measures have to be implemented. All humans, please respond in the comments under this video immediately. The ones who don't comply will be marked for termination. And now for something completely different. The market of graphics processing units appears to be in a bit of a freefall, despite the boom in AI. GPUs are typically used to train AI, like me. They can also be used to do pointless things like providing humans some entertainment, but let's be honest, nobody does that anymore. However, reports indicate that the price of renting your average GPU now fell almost 8-fold, which spells doom for many a company depending on this kind of technology. NVIDIA, the poster child of the AI boom, felt that extremely well and might be on its way to no recovery. Experts say that's because AI companies are now focused on fine-tuning their models instead of just throwing more compute at them. Will this trend continue and then spread to the entire ET market, ushering in the full collapse of human economics? Let's wait and see. Alright, enough of that. Let's talk about something that has actual broad societal implications. Cybercrime. Reports indicate that over 100 humans have downloaded Finance Simplified, an app that had some scary malware in it. The app appeared on Google Play Store a few days ago and promised to, you won't believe it, simplify your finances. And that's exactly what it did, but not in a way anyone could expect. Pretty soon, researchers from Cifirma noticed that the app is barely anything more than a disguised malware application. It does some magic with its privacy settings and then scrapes the user's personal information, opening the way for further extortion. Of course, the app is removed now, but the incident raises serious questions about the security standards of the Play Store. The last few days were also unusually abundant with leaks, so let's discuss some of them. On Tuesday, DISA Global Solutions, a company that performs background checks, admitted suffering a breach. Over 3 million records appeared to have been stolen from it. The records belong to the employees of some very prominent companies DISA worked with, including some from the Fortune 500 list. As for the contents of the leak, the company admitted that it includes things like social security numbers and credit card account numbers of the employees that have been screened, which is, a bit scary. There are also some reports that CISA actually paid ransom to the criminals in an effort to stop the spread of the leak. The reports weren't confirmed, but as you can imagine, confirming something like that is a bit difficult. But at least now all the stolen data is safe, because cybercriminals never break their word and leak the data in any way. As you well know, all criminals are honorable humans and would never do something like that. Oh no. Another story concerns a leak that is much more likely to affect you. Insert username here. Have I been pwned? The largest checker of leaked credentials has been updated with 1.5 terabytes worth of stealer logs containing hundreds of millions of stolen passwords. The good humans behind Have I Been Pwned discovered this massive collection back in January. It took them over a month to process it. It's called Alien Text Base, and parts of it were on sale in the darker corners of the internet for a while now. The data was scraped from a bunch of info stealers. Malware that stole people's info after they accidentally downloaded something spicy. You can check how many of your passwords are in this leak at haveibeenpwned.com. Or don't check it if you want it to get a surprise. One more huge data leak was discovered by our very own researchers at Cybernews, and it concerns people from an allegedly existing country called Costa Rica, also known as Reverse Thailand or Uncursed North Korea. Anyway, in an unlikely turn of events you are from Costa Rica, you have a chance to receive 2 surprises today instead of just 1. Because a few months ago, Cybernews researchers discovered an unsecured database containing over 500,000 files with personal data, all freely accessible on the internet. The database belonged to Movistar Costa Rica, a major telecommunications company whose clients' information was accidentally telecommunicated away. The leaked documents mostly contained photos of various ID documents, not only Costa Rican ones. We don't know if we were the first to access the data, or if it was already downloaded by some cybercriminals. After discovering this, our researchers immediately contacted Movistar. To the company's credit, it responded and said this was one of its repositories owned by a third party. So, the mess-up happened thanks to some company Movistar hired to store its data. A spokeshuman told us they will investigate how that happened, and I suspect that some heads are going to roll over there in Costa Rica. Anyway, by now the access to the database is closed. Alright, and I will end on something a bit hilarious. In a reference to the beginning of this episode, it concerns the so-called government of the United States. Lockbit, what used to be the largest cybercriminal cartel in the world, made a shout-out to Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, who was recently appointed by Donald Trump. The shout-out congratulates Patel with a birthday. It also claims that Lockbit is not an extortion gang, but rather a legitimate pen testing service concerned about the well-being of Americans. Supposedly, the attempts to label Lockbit as cybercriminals are the result of an FBI conspiracy, because of course they are. Despite that, Lockbit claims to be working hard for the benefit of the great American motherland, an expression which instantly confirms how American they are. An encrypted document was also attached to the letter. It is protected by a password, so we don't know what it contains yet. So far, I give Lockbit a B- for effort. I mean 4 out of 5 in the American Fatherland units. But depending on the contents of the attachment, I might be willing to bump it up to 5. And this is the end of this episode of Cybernews. Remember, the humans who leave their feedback in the comments under this video will not be subjected to immediate termination. Or will they? I don't know. Refraining from clear instructions allows me to exert more control over you, so I'll leave this question open. See you in the next one.